Hi guys, welcome. Welcome everyone. Hi, I see lots of you are here already waiting for us. That's amazing, guys. My name is Vera. I'll be your instructor for tonight, and this is what we're painting. Guys, I'm gonna give everyone another minute or two to join, and then we're gonna start. I just wanna make sure we all are here and we're not missing anyone. So just make sure you have your supplies ready for now. Make sure you have everything that we need, and we'll start in about 1 or 2 minutes just to give everyone another minute to join. Awesome. Love seeing so many different places here. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to those who are celebrating today. What a great day. And guys, if you can't join us today, but you would love to paint this, the video will remain up on our YouTube. So if you want to do that, you can do it any other day. Doesn't have to be today. Woohoo! Awesome. All right, guys, another minute for everyone to join, and then we start. Hello, hello, hello. Yay. Hey, people from Markham. I'm currently in Markham, so you might be right near me. You never know. I love seeing how many different places we're in, guys. This is awesome. My favorite part about virtual events is that we can do it from all over the world and be together safely, social distancing, but also safely together. I love it. All right, let me get my canvas. So here's my canvas. All right, guys, so I think it's time for us to start. We have a lot of us here, so hopefully we have everyone. If not, hopefully the rest of us will join very shortly. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. My name is Vera. I will be your instructor for tonight, and this is what we're painting. It is super fun. It's really pretty. You guys can change all the colors here. It doesn't have to be specifically these colors. You can replace it with teals. You can replace it with pinks. You can add some pinks. You can add some oranges. Anything you want, you can add it, no problem. And it's not crazy hard one, so that's always a bonus, right? Again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's celebrating today. And if by any chance you guys can't stay the whole event, or you would really love to join this, but you have other plans for today, that's not a problem. Video will remain up on our YouTube pretty much forever. So you can do it at your own convenience. Now, let's go through our supplies to make sure we have everything that we need for today. First thing you're gonna need is, of course, something to paint on. I will be using this wonderful 16 by 20 inch canvas. It's pretty big, as you can see, but you guys are free to use any other size as well. It doesn't have to be 16 by 20. You can go with smaller size. Remember, if you go, let's say, half of this, it's gonna be a little easier. So the smaller you go, the easier it is, unless you go really, really small, and that's where it gets really hard to. So I wouldn't suggest going too small or bigger than this, but any other size is perfect. And you can also use paper, you can use cardboard, you can use wood. It doesn't even have to be a canvas. Now, second thing we will need is painting water. I have some right here. So make sure you grab some painting water. Definitely a must for painting. It's hard to paint without painting water. Then we are going to need something to mix our paint on. I have quite a few of those paper plates. Let me grab them. Ta-da! So it's good to have a couple as well, but you can use anything. You can use just a piece of cardboard. You can use Tupperware lids. You can use paper plates, plastic plates, actual pallets if you have those. All that works. Then we're going to need a paper towel. Very important part of this. Or if you guys have reusable fabric cloth, those are always the best. If not, paper towel, napkin, toilet paper works perfectly fine. All right. What else? Now we're going to use 3 different brushes: large, medium, and small. So here is large, here is medium, here is small. In my case, my large and my medium brushes are square, and my small is a little pointy brush. However, if you guys don't have square brushes, that's okay. You don't have to. That's a preference. I personally prefer square brushes, but if you want to use pointy brushes or rounded, that's all good. You can definitely do this painting with any brush. It doesn't have to be square, but I personally prefer the square brushes. So just grab a couple different sizes. If you have more than 3 brushes, if you have a large set, even better. If not, a couple is good. And of course, we will be using paint. I will be using primary colors only, which is blue, red, yellow, white, and black. For this particular painting, you actually don't even need yellow. You only need, from primaries, red and blue, or pink and blue, whichever you have, and you will need white and black. Actually, you don't even need black, just white, pink, and blue from primaries. If you want to modify your colors, it's good to have all the colors, just in case you want to switch something around. If you have pre-mixed colors, even better, it's even easier. You're only going to need pink, purple, and white if you're using pre-mix, and that's, well, maybe a little bit blue for here. But yeah, totally up to you. We'll get there. I would say whatever colors you have, just have them all available to reach. Don't put them on your palette yet. And once we get there, I will show you which color to use, and then you can see what you have. You can see what it matches the best out of what you have. All right, does that sound good? And guys, feel free to communicate with me through chat. I am seeing it right in front of my face. Sometimes messages go really, really fast. So if I don't see your message, please forgive me. Please type it again, and I will be responding to the best of my ability to all messages that come. And also, guys, you can rewind this video. So let's say you joined us too late, or you need a bit more time for a certain step. You can rewind it. You can go back. YouTube allows you to do that even while we're still live. Unfortunately, there is no pause option. The pause option will be here once the video is done recording, once we're not live anymore. But even though we're live now, you can go back and rewatch certain areas if you would like. All right, so let's talk about how this is going to go and where we're going to start and where we're going to go with this. For this particular painting, we're going to start by outlining our moon. So if you have a circular object in your house that is a good size for your moon, such as a plate, you can use a pot lid, or literally anything circular. You can bring it, put it in here, and outline it. And you can use either pencil for it, or you can use just like paint for it. But we'll get there. I'll show you how to do it. I'm just warning you, letting you know what's coming here. So we'll start by outlining our moon. After that, we're going to move on to coloring our moon with just basic colors. The moon is going to have a lot of colors on it, but we're going to start with the base. After we have a base, we're going to move on to our surroundings, and we will add a lot on our surroundings. So all this beautiful sky. We're going to start one color at a time. As you can see, there are a lot of colors here. They're blue, they're purples, they're more like a pinky purple. We'll be swirling them around until we fill the whole background, except of this really, really bottom section. That we can add on top, or we can fill it now too. Doesn't matter, we'll get there. After that, we're going to go back on our moon, and we will add more. Do you see there a lot of dabs on top there. I added some purple, some bluey purples, even some whites. And that you can do with a brush or with a paper towel or even with a sponge. If you have a good sponge, you can do that too. And you can sponge it on top. And we will add a bit of splatter too. After we have our background done, only after that we're going to move to our trees. And we will do our trees in dark purple. Then we're going to merge our trees to the bottom through transition of dark purple to white. And then we'll add a little white highlights on our trees. And then we'll finish up by adding dots. As you can see, there are quite a few dots here for our snow that is falling. And just a few stars. Do you see there are a few little stars here? So that's pretty much the breakdown. Now you know what to expect. Now grab your canvases and grab something circular. What do you have around that you can trace your moon? For me, it's probably going to be one of those plates. I have quite a few of those, so I'm going to find probably the straightest one out of all of them, because some of them are not very straight. I think this one would be the straightest. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a perfect moon size. So grab something. Moon can be any size. If yours is bigger than mine or smaller than mine, it's all good. Doesn't have to be this particular size. And if you have a pencil, grab a pencil and outline it with a pencil. If you don't have a pencil, you can outline it with light pink or light blue. In my case, I'm going to go with light blue. So I'm going to put some white on my palette. And I'm going to put some blue on my palette as well. All right, so I have white and I have blue. I'm going to grab my small brush and I'm going to make my light blue to outline my moon. So I'm going to scoop some white, grab a smidge of blue, mix it up. I would suggest that you guys go very, very, very light here, just in case you don't want to see it in the end. Or pencil. I will go a little bit darker. This is the color I'll be going with, just because I want you guys to be able to see it better. So I'm going to position my moon, I would say upper half of my canvas, and I'll outline it. Ta-da! All right. Part one, done. I'm going to give you guys, all of you, another minute to do this. I don't want to rush you through it. So once you have it, once you have the moon outline, let me know in chat, say good to go, thumbs up, something along those lines. That way I know that you're ready, and then we'll go. We'll go to next step. Good, yes. Awesome. I see a lot of people ready. That's awesome, guys. Okay. Ready, ready, good, good, ready. Amazing. Okay, so now, because we're moving on to moon, I'm also going to put my pink on my plate. Well, it's kind of red, but it's kind of pink as well. So it's primary red. It's called bright red, but also it is a magenta-based red. So it's like very, very dark pink. So put on your palette either primary red or if you have pink, you can use pink, no problem. So now I have three colors on my palette. I have this primary red, I have white, and I have blue. And I'm going to move to my large brush. So I'm going to grab this one, the large brush. I will dip it in the water. And I'm going to make pink. So I'm going to scoop some white on the side. Put it right here. Then I'm going to take a tiny smidge of my red, mix it in, make nice light pink. You want to keep it light here. And I'm going to go on my moon closer to the outer edge right here. And you see I have a brush full of this color because you need to spread it over a large area, especially if you're using fairly large cameras such as mine. You want to have quite a bit of paint on your brush. So we're going to go all around. You see I'm making like a circle within that circle. If it's a little messy and goes over the edges, not a problem because we're going to overlap our background. So the only thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave any space between your pink and the edge. It needs to go straight to the edge. If you want, you can go a little bit over the edge. So you see how I got messy here? And that's okay because we're going to overlap the background, so we're going to cover all the mess. So I'm going to add a bit more of it, a bit more swirly, swirly. This is pretty much what it looks like. And then right away, before it dries, I'm going to wash my brush and grab a full brush of straight white. You see I'm getting a lot of white. And I'm going to go right in the middle of this. And I will start adding white in the middle. So do you see I'm adding it, not touching my pink first. So in the very middle. And only after I have that, I'm going to continue swirling around with my white. And because my pink is still so fresh, they're going to start blending. Just the trick here is don't refill your brush. Continue swirling until you have a nice transition. If it's a little brush strokey like mine is, not a problem. And because we're going to add so many more colors in the end here, you're not going to see that. So do you see we're going to dab some purples here, some whites. So you're not going to see this. This is just a base for us. And as always, once you guys have it, give me a sign, let me know that you're good to go in chat, and then I'll show you what's next. Ready? Yes, awesome. It's great to see that so many of us are ready. Awesome job, guys. Yes, awesome. Lots of us are ready. That's great, guys. Knowing how many of us are watching, I'll still give everyone another couple seconds, and then we'll move. Yes, guys, the video will be up to watch and paint at a later date. That's no problem. All right, so guys, we're gonna let it be for a couple minutes. We're gonna move onto our background for now. We're gonna let our moon dry up a little. So we're gonna go onto our background and we'll start swirling one color at a time around our moon. Again, you're gonna use the biggest brush that you have. So do you see here, there are blues, there are purples, there are darker purples, there are lighter purples, and so on. That's what we're gonna do. And guys, we'll have to move fairly fast in our background. And the reason why is you don't want your paint to dry up. So you want to work on wet. It's much easier to blend while your paint is still wet. Once your paint dries, it's not impossible to blend on dry paint, but it is much harder. So that's why we're going to try to do it all in one shot in a way. Doesn't mean it's going to be in 1 minute, but in one shot. We have to always move to next color while our previous color is still a little bit wet. Hope that makes sense. So as you can see, I'm going to start with bluey color here, and then I'm going to move on to darker purple, then lighter purple, then so again and again, I'll switch the colors. If you guys want to have different colors, that's not a problem. This is the part where you can use any colors that you want, and it's going to look fantastic. So any shades of reds, pinks, purples, blues, even other colors if you want to mix them in. I probably wouldn't, but you can if you want to, and it will look really, really good. So if your colors don't match mine precisely, don't be upset. It will still turn out really well. All right, so the first color I'm going to do is blue. So I'm going to grab my big brush. Here it is. I will wash it, make sure it's nice and clean. And then I'm going to grab some primary blue. This is my primary blue. Do you see how dark it is? So I'm going to put it on the side, and then to that primary blue, I'm going to add a little bit of white. Mix it up. Make like a medium dark blue. So not very light. I would say medium to medium dark blue. And with this color, I'm going to add first couple brush strokes around my moon. Now, something to look out for here, you want them, you don't want to leave any space between your outline and those brush strokes. You want to go as close to your moon as you can here. So be very precise with it. Do you see I'm going straight to the edge here? I'm not leaving any space between the edge and my blue color. Right to the edge. And you can do it all the way around, or you can do just a piece of it. I think I'm going to do just a piece of it. I think this is good. I'm not going to go all the way around. But if you already did go all the way around, that's not a mistake either. And guys, as always, let me know when you have it. Just give me a thumbs up. I wouldn't be waiting too long on this step, just because, as I mentioned earlier, we have to kind of move fast here. We don't have the ability to just wait until our paint dries. We have to blend on wet. But of course, I can give you a couple minutes. That's no problem. Deb, if your center went pink, that's totally fine. Guys, we're going to add so many colors on a moon that you're not going to see it in the end. This is just our backdrop, so we don't start with a white. So that's why we added. If your center is pink or yours is darker than mine, not a problem at all. Guys, if you're just joining us now, you can just rewind this to the beginning and start watching from the beginning. And video will stay here forever. So you can do this at a later date, no problem. All right, I'm gonna move on to darker purple. So what I'm gonna do to the same blue, I'm gonna grab a bit more white first. I'm almost out of white here. So I'm gonna go on to the same blue. If you still have some of it, I'm gonna make a little more because I'm almost out. So I'm gonna grab some white, some blue, make more of the same blue. And then once I have more of that, I'm going to add some red to it to make purple. So I'm going to scoop lots and lots of red. As you can see, there's lots of it here. And add it in and mix it. And if that's not enough, I'm going to add more. So purple is just blue and red or pink. If you guys have choice between red and pink, use the color that's more of a magenta based. So if you have red that's more a magenta based red, that will give you beautiful purple. If you don't have that but have pink, you can always use pink instead. So do you see it's dark purple? This is what I'll be using. And now with this color, I'm gonna go around here and on a bottom. So I'm gonna start on a bottom really close to my moon again, because I haven't finished this section, right? And then flick it a little bit into this blue here, and flick it a little bit up here. And then I'm gonna go up over this blue here. So I'm gonna add another line right here. And now I'm gonna wash my brush. And you see it's not very blended. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash my brush, and with a clean, slightly wet brush, I'm gonna go right in between these two colors where they connect. You see there is a harsh line in between. So I'm taking my clean, slightly wet brush. I dabbed it off on my cloth after I washed it. And now with this clean, slightly wet brush, I'm gonna go right over the line where two colors connect. And I'll go back and forth in this circular motion until that line in between completely disappears. So do you see now it looks like a better blended colors. And I will do the same on the end where I added this purple here to blend it into my blue. So as you can see now, this is a nice color transition. It doesn't look like just cutouts from different colored paper that you stuck on. It looks like nice transition painting. And for moon color, if you accidentally get into your moon right now and it looks weird, that's okay. You can always fix it. Once we finish our background, we can go back to our moon. We can, and we will actually go back to our moon. So don't worry about the edges right now. Yes, do your best and try to have them nice and polished. But if not, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about that. All right, and as always, guys, once you have it, give me thumbs up, like that. Yes, ready. Awesome. I am glad you guys are enjoying this video so far. Good, good, good. Yes, good question. So I see a question in chat that your purple is turning out brown. I will explain why. This is a very common thing, actually, very, very common. So if you notice that your purple is turning out brown, it's because your red has pre-mixed yellow in it. So some reds, some paint is more mixing paint and some paint is more pre-mixed paint. So my paint that I'm using is mixing paint. So it doesn't have extra pigments. It only has what it needs to. But sometimes paints will have pre-mixed other pigments into them. So those paints are not made for mixing. They're more made to be used out of the tube. So if your purple that you're trying to make is turning out more with a hint of brown, that means your red had yellow pre-mixed into it. In that case, I would suggest that you switch the red. If you have different red, if you have pink, use pink instead. That will solve your problem. If you don't, this is the only red that you have, then use way more red and way less blue. For those of you guys who are wondering how you can see the beginning, just rewind it to the beginning. All right, I see lots of thumbs up. I think we're gonna move to our next color because as I mentioned, we have to do this pretty fast because we only can blend it on wet. So next color is gonna be like a pink or purple, or you can even use straight pink depending on how contrast you want it to be. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with a base of white. I'm gonna scoop some white, put it here, and then I'm gonna take some red, mix it in quite a bit. I don't want it light. I want it a nice saturated pink in a way. You see, and now I'm going to take just the tiniest smidge of blue, very, very small, and mix, well, maybe a little bit more. And mix it in because I want to have not straight pink, but more of a pinker purple. So that's why I'm going to be adding the tiniest smidge by the tiniest smidge of blue until I get to the right shade. I think this would be a good one. Let me try it. That's pretty good. This is the color. Do you see? It's like purpley pink, or like purple that's way on a pinker side. And now with this, I'm going to go around again, and I'm going to add a couple more lines of this color. And go right to your other colors. Don't leave any space in between. Just go right to them. And you can go a little bit over them as well if you need to, or if you want to. I'll add a little bit right here too. And now I'm going to wash my brush. So there's one more here. Wash my brush, lightly dry it on my cloth, on my paper towel, and I'm going to go ahead and start blending where it's not blended. So here, do you see there's a harsh line, right? So I'm going to go with my clean, slightly wet brush right in between these two wet colors over this harsh line and continue going over it until it disappears. And alternatively, you can go a little bit into the pink, a little bit into the blue to pick up a little bit of those wet colors on your clean brush to spread them around a little. That is okay too. So now, as you can see, I have all the colors beautifully blended. All those that we added so far. So guys, to answer your question, how can you tell the difference when buying your paint? You can. It's hard to tell how it's going to mix because all pigments react very differently. So it really is a gamble when you buy paint. You don't know how pigments are going to react together in mixing. However, I would suggest generally if you buy paint that you are going to mix, for red specifically, look that it should be on a pinker side. So it shouldn't look like an orangey red. If it looks more like a fire truck red, that means it does have yellow pre-mixed into it, guaranteed. 100% it does. So it should be more like a very, very dark pink. So it should have this hint of pink to it. That red, you will have great time mixing with other colors. As for blue, it's kind of the opposite. If you're buying blue color for mixing, try to buy blue that does not have pinker or warmer shade to it. If you don't buy ultramarine blue for mixing, that blue mixes horribly. It will give you beautiful purple because it has red pre-mixed into it, but it's going to give you a shady green. So don't buy ultramarine blue if you're buying mixing paint. So for blue, it's the opposite. Look that your blue doesn't have any hint of warm colors in it. So that's the only two colors you really need to worry when mixing. Yellow, any yellow will mix well, pretty much. Black and white, they are just black and white, right? But with red and blue, it's important to get the right colors if you're going to mix them. If you're not going to mix them and going to use them straight from the tube or mix them but only with white, then it doesn't matter. You can buy any colors. Yes, it's possible that you guys would be drying up too quick. In that case, just use a bit more water in your paint because I'm trying to go at average pace. You might find it a bit too fast or too slow for you because, you know, we all are different, right? And all of us use different pigments as well. We all use different brands of paint. Some paint dries slower, some paint dries faster. If you find that your paint dries much faster than mine, which is completely possible, just dip your brush in the water more often and use more water in your paint to slow it down a little bit. I can give you another minute. I can't unfortunately wait for 5 minutes for that particular reason, because I know we're all using different brands of paint and I don't want you guys to have paint dry up and then not be able to blend. We kind of have to complete this before our paint dries, but I can give you another minute. That's no problem. All right, I see lots of thumbs up. That's good, guys. Can't figure out why this painting looks a little crooked on my background. I think it's just the angle. You see, it kind of looks like that. Should be like that. Little things. Yay, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Thanks, guys. You're the best. I am glad it's looking good so far. That is what we want. That's what we're hoping for here. All right, I'm gonna move on to my next color, and my next color here is going to be lighter purple. So if you still have a little bit of that purple that we mixed and used for here, you can just add a bit of white to it. If not, and you have a little bit of this one, you can just add a bit more blue to it and it will bring you to purple. Either one is fine. I still have a little bit of that purple, so I'm just gonna add some white to it. And again, do you see I just dipped my brush in the water, and after dipping in the water, I went right into my paint. So then my paint doesn't dry up too fast either. You always want to dip your brush in the water after you finish certain brush strokes, or when you need to refill your brush, you want to dip it in the water, then in paint, so that extra water drips into your paint and not onto your canvas, and then your paint stays wet. So that's good to do. So I'm going to grab this purple, light purple, and I'm going to go right in between here. It doesn't have to be light purple, just a bit lighter. And also, guys, if you want to substitute it for any other color, go for it. Absolutely. It doesn't have to be this particular color. If you have another color that you think would work better, go for it. Okay, and well, let's add a little bit of it on top. Why not, right? We'll add a little right here. That sounds good. Sounds like a good spot. And of course, as soon as you're done, wash off your brush and blend it into the neighboring colors. So I washed my brush. I'm taking my brush nice and clean and slightly wet, but not too wet. And I'm blending those neighboring colors. Same way, going right over the line where they connect, and I'm going back and forth until they are blended. That looks pretty good. And another blending right on top here. That looks awesome. After that, we'll add a little bit more blue because we have a lot of pink and purple now and not a lot of blue. To answer your question, which color I just mixed with white, purple. I mixed the purple that we used earlier, this one. That's what I mixed with white to get this color. Guys, if you're just joining us, you're free to rewind it to the beginning and watch from the beginning. You don't have to try to figure out how we got here. And if you want to do it some other day, that's totally fine too. The video will stay up, so if you want to do it tomorrow or over the weekend, you can totally do this. Yeah, square canvas, you probably will have it full by now. So far, so good. That's good. I am glad, guys. Very glad to hear this. All right. Blending is tricky. You're 100% right. Okay, next one, I'm going to go back to blue. So if you still have a little bit of that blue, you can use it. If not, you can mix another blue. Any shade pretty much will work. I think I'm going to go pretty dark now. So I'm going to go with my straight primary blue. It's a pretty dark blue here. Or you can mix a little bit of white. Actually, let's mix just a little of white to make it a little lighter than just primary. But still pretty dark, as you can see. And I'm going to add my edges, my corners with this first. And after I have corners, I'm going to add it a little bit on the bottom as well. Let's add it right here. And then let's blend it. So again, I'm going to wash off my brush, dry it, go right over the lines where my two colors connect, and blend them in. And guys, I'll finish up with a dark purple just because why not? We're almost there. We might as well finish it up. So again, purple is blue and red and a little bit of white mixed together. Don't make it too dark, but it should be definitely on a darker side. So this is mine. This is a good shade. So let's add a little bit more red. So just blue, red, and a bit of white. And definitely add more red than blue. So I finished up my bottom with this. And also, I think I'm going to add a couple smidges here as well. Just why not, right? Let's add a brush stroke here and there as well. Only if you want to. You don't have to. If you feel like you have a good combo of colors going on, don't add it anywhere else. I added brush stroke right here too because I felt like there was something missing. And now I'm going to wash off my brush, and with a clean wet brush, I'm going to blend this one first. So I'm just going to go around it. Done. And now I'm going to blend the bottom one. So all my colors are blended. I am loving, loving, loving this. Now I'm going to give you guys some time to catch up because we're not in rush anymore. We're done our background. We're going to move on to moon in a second, but not yet. We will move into moon once we're ready to move into moon. Now we're not afraid for them to start drying. They totally can, and they should start drying. So that's all good. That's a good question. What are we doing to sides? So guys, there are a couple options of what you could do to sides. I am not going to bother with my sides right now just because I'm holding it and I don't want to smudge my paint on the side. Two options. Option number one, you either color match it or you just choose one color that's present on your painting and you color all the edges with that. Color matching is a little bit harder because then you have to go back and see blue and bring it to the edge, purple, bring it to the edge, dark purple, bring it to the edge, and it's hard to blend them to bring it to the edge and so on. Or you can just choose one color that is present here. Any one of those will work perfectly fine. I would probably recommend dark purple for this painting. It's always good to have darker edges. So grab one color that's present here and do all your edges in that color because all your background is shades of purple anyway, shades of pinks and blues and purples. So it will look really good. Yay, thanks guys. And again, once you have it, thumbs up and I'll tell you what's next. But no rush. Ready, ready, ready. That's good. I am glad I see a lot of readies. Guys, it doesn't have to look like mine. We're all individuals, right? We're all very different. So our paintings will look very, very different as well. And that is perfectly normal. Guys, I'm going to give you another little tip. You need to compliment your painting. Paintings are like people. If you tell them nice things, they love it and they get better. If you tell them how good they are, how pretty they are, how much you enjoy painting them, they feel it and they only get better from there. If you tell them how bad they are and that you don't like them, they get worse. So just a little tip for you. Even if you are not sure how it looks right now, it never looks good 1/3 way through, which where we are at right now. It never does. That's just how it goes. It starts looking good on the last maybe 20% of the painting. So even if you're unsure of your painting, just tell it how good it is, how beautiful it is, and how much you love it. And I promise you it's only going to get better from there. Now to answer your question, what to do if your moon looks a bit choppy? So is mine. As you can see, there are quite a few spots that are like not the right circle. And that's okay. We're gonna go back on our moon very, very soon, right after we're done background. I'm just giving everyone another minute to finish up the background and then we'll fix up those edges. All right, guys, I think it is safe for us to start moving on to our moon. So that's what we're gonna do. I will go with a different brush for now. I'm gonna wash off my large brush. I'll clean it, make sure it's nice and clean. You don't wanna leave any paint on your brush because that will ruin your brush. And put it aside, and I'll take my medium brush. And with a medium brush, we're gonna go and fix the outside of our moon. So you're free to use either light pink or white, whatever you want. So you can either make light pink again, or you can use straight white. That's okay. I think I'm gonna go with straight white here, just because why not? I'm gonna go grab a little bit of paint here, and I will add it on the inside of the moon. So I'm gonna go and fix up all the edges. So do you see I added a little bit of white? Now I'm gonna wash off my brush, dry it on a cloth, and I will smudge this inner side to blend it. So it doesn't look just like a ribbon of white. So it's blended into the pink color. If you already used pink, it will be even easier for you. And I'm gonna do that all around my moon to fix up those edges. And again, you can do this with pink. It doesn't have to be white. I personally do white just because I think it would be nice to have another additional color there. All right. And I'm gonna blend my white again. So I washed off my medium brush, dried it on my cloth. I'm gonna blend the inner edge of the white. So I'm quite happy with this. I'm gonna stop. No more white for me. And I'll give you guys a minute to do this. And when you have it, again, give me a thumbs up and I'll show you what's next. And then we're gonna move on to dabbing, and we're gonna start dabbing all kinds of purple and some whites over our moon. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we'll add the moon texture here. Oh no, water jar spills. That's not nice. I know. That's probably very messy. Eeh, sorry. Yeah, so, okay, so I see a comment about my other paint in the bottom here and the bottom here. So that we did finish all the way to the bottom. It's dark bottom, and there the bottom is light. We're gonna do that later. We're actually gonna put our trees first, and then we're gonna merge our trees, that dark purple into white, and we're gonna get transition. So here we didn't necessarily have to color the bottom. We could just leave it uncolored because we're gonna paint over it later on as well. But again, it's not a mistake for us painting totally dark right now. It actually is gonna help us just in case there'll be certain spots that are not fully covered. This is a better background for it. Oh, that's nice. I hope your daughter, who's 2 years old, having fun too. That's so cute. For those who are wondering what is in my mug, it is a tea. I love my tea. John, this totally can. Anytime. Ready. Awesome. I see some ready. That is great. Ready, ready. Yes. Denise, I am currently in Markham, Ontario. That's where I am. Yes, good morning to you too, guys. To all those of you who are watching this in the morning. Yep, it's 7:26 where I am too. But people who are watching us in India have morning right now. Hi, neighbor. Markham neighbors here. Yes, definitely. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jamison is 4 today. Happy birthday, Jamison. I hope you're having fun painting. Amazing, guys. I love seeing your comments. All right, so it looks like we're all ready. So we're going to move to our moon. What are we going to need? You can either dab with your largest brush or you can dab with paper towel. I'm going to show you how it's going to look both ways and you decide which is better for you. Both will work. It just really depends what look you prefer. So the first color I'm going to use for my dabbing is going to be red or pink in a way. So if you have this color, do you remember that one? The way it is here, you can use that one. If not, we'll make something similar. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix it from scratch just to show you guys again how to mix it. But if you still have that color that you use there, you can just use that one. You don't have to mix it again. Oh, guys, we have another birthday person. Hi, Tony. Happy birthday, Tony. Who else have birthdays today? Let's celebrate all together. Tony from Jersey, happy birthday. All right, so I have my white. I'm going to start with white here. I'm going to scoop some white on the side, just a little bit. Then I'm going to take some red, mix it in, make like a very, very dark pink. You see, very saturated. And then to this color, I'm going to start adding blue little by little. Yes, I'm using acrylic paint for those who are wondering. So just little by little, touch by touch. This actually might be enough. Oh yeah, this is totally enough. This one smidge was enough of blue here. So now, 2 options of how you can do it. Let me show you one with paper towel first. So this is a tricky one. So guys, don't do this yet. Just watch me do it and then you can do it, okay? Because it is a tricky one. So I'm going to grab my paper towel. I'm going to grab my brush. And I'm going to start by doing a couple blobs. And you see they don't look pretty. They're very blobby and that's okay. So as soon as you have blobs, then you take your paper towel and you go right over it. And do you see how pretty it is now? Night and day difference. So that's option number 1 of what you can do with every color, because we're going to layer a lot of colors here. This is one way you can do it. And try to get close to the edge. But if you don't go all the way to the edge, that's not a problem at all. You can have unpainted edge. Option number 2 is you take, I'm going to wash off my brush, large brush. You take clean, slightly wet brush, and then you only take a tiny smidge of paint on it. So just a little bit, or even after taking paint on it, you dry it up on a cloth to get rid of extra paint. You see how little paint I have now? And with this, you very lightly dab. Or even rub it. Do you see the difference in the look? This is brush, this is paper towel. Totally up to you which style you decide to use. Either brush or paper towel, but somewhere here you're gonna add this color very lightly. I mean, if you use brush, very lightly. If you use paper towel, you can blob it and then dab with paper towel to smudge it. Either one is fine. Just make sure it looks almost like fog, almost like colored fog. And while you guys do this, I'm quickly gonna check the messages here. Oh, we have Dion. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. Guys, please forgive me if I'm pronouncing some names bad. English is not my first language, so I think I get a slack for that. I hope so. So I apologize in advance. But yes, happy birthday, Dion. Ernest? Yes, happy birthday, Ernest. Katie from Massachusetts, 34 years young today. Yes, that's a great age. 42. Awesome. Miguelina Ford. I really apologize if I'm not saying it correct, but happy birthday. 42 is an amazing age as well. Yes, happy birthday to everyone who celebrates today. Guys, I hope you're having like the best birthday you can have in a pandemic. Yeah, sorry, your back is hurting. The video will stay here. If you guys need to go somewhere and you can't finish today, not a problem. It will stay exactly where it is. You always know where to find it, so you can come back and do this later. Can we get a happy birthday for Pearl from Ontario? Absolutely. Happy birthday, Pearl. Happy 23. Suzanne, 65 young. Yes. Happy 65. 48 tomorrow, Julie. Happy almost birthday. All right, so guys, happy birthday to all of you, to everyone who's with us this today. Thank you for spending your special day with us. That's awesome. I feel very honored that you made that choice. Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I hope you're having fun, because that's the most important thing. Unfortunately, I'm a little lost in comments. They're going a little too fast for me at this point, so I'm going to go back to this. All right, so I'm going to move to my second color. It's going to be more like a lighter purple. So do you remember this purple that we added here, this lighter one? That's what we're going to do. Again, I'm going to mix it from scratch just to show you guys how to do it in case you forgot. So I'm going to start from white with white. I'm going to scoop some white on the side. Then I'm going to take a smidge of red, add it in. Maybe a little more. And then I'm going to take a smidge of blue and add it in. Always use less blue than red. You don't need equal parts. Blue is more powerful, bossier color. All right, so I mixed it in. This is a little too blue. Okay, let's add a bit more red. This is a good purple. All right, so now I'm gonna overlap it. You can technically go anywhere you want with this, just continue with circular motion in a way. I'm gonna add this with a paper towel first, just again to show you how to do it, and then I will do it with a brush, but it doesn't matter. And you can totally overlap the color you used earlier. So I'm gonna put a couple blobby brush strokes right here. I'll put blobby brush strokes right here. Some here too. All right, and now I'm gonna go with my paper towel and dab it all up. So do you see it added another layer of intricacy to this painting. That's what's going to happen with every color that we add. It gets more intricate, and that's what we want. So now I'm probably going to go and add a couple more with just a brush. So again, I cleaned my brush so it doesn't have too much paint on it. Now I'm going to take just a little bit of paint on it, and again, I'm actually just going to dab it off on my cloth before I go onto the painting. And only now I'm going to go onto the painting. And that's how I just make sure that I don't have too much paint on my brush. And as long as you edit in the circular motion, it's all good. You can edit anywhere you want. And guys, when you have it, please give me thumbs up, and then I will show you next color. All right, thumbs up, that's great. All right, so I'm gonna add next color. Next color is gonna be a darker purple. So again, you can use, if you still have darker purple somewhere on your plate, you can use it. If not, you can use that color as a base. If you still have a bit of that, and just add more red to it and more blue. So I'm gonna start by adding more red, and then add a little bit of blue little by little. Okay, so this is good darker-ish purple. It doesn't have to be crazy dark. So let's add another smidge of blue. Yeah, that's even better. So it doesn't have to be crazy dark. This is more than enough. So I'm gonna add, again, I will start with a paper towel and then I'll finish up with a brush, but you can do either or, it doesn't have to be both. I'm gonna start somewhere here, do it a little bit here, and do it a little bit there. This is good. Okay, I'm good with this. I don't want to add any more of dark purple. The only color at this point I'm going to add is some white, and I'm done with this moon. So again, once you guys have this color, let me know, and then we'll move to our final color for the moon, which is going to be white. We'll just add a little bit of that, and that's it. Splatter the sky, we're done the background. Then we'll move on to our trees. And I'll get another piece of paper towel because that one seems to be very, very painted at this point. Yay, more birthday people. Happy birthday, everyone. That is awesome. And also, if you know someone who's having birthday today and you're not with them, you can gift them this painting. If it turns out really well, you could totally make it into a gift. Here is some idea for you. Done, done, good, awesome, wonderful. All right, last color. So I'm gonna go on to my white. So again, you can do just the paper towel, you can do just the brush, either one is fine. I think I'm gonna go with just the brush for this one. And I'll light a little bit right here, very lightly. You can probably hardly see it because it's white. White is generally pretty hard to see. But you can add it anywhere, wherever you feel like your moon will benefit from a little bit of white, add it there. It doesn't have to be that particular spot. That's just what I think would work best for my moon. If for your moon some other spot is better, go for it. And also the reason why I added it on the bottom, I'll tell you why here. Do you see it? There is going to be a tree here. So I want this tree to be very contrast on the background. So that's why I added it here. But feel free to edit in any other spots too. Don't limit yourself to just that one. All right, I'm happy with my moon. Very happy with it. So I'm going to let it be. I'll give you guys another minute, and then we'll move on to splatter. We'll splatter our background, and then we'll move on to our trees. So I would say we're about 60% done here. Diane, to answer your question, why I didn't say to bring pink and purple and so on, and we're mixing from primers, actually for 2 reasons. Maybe more than 2 reasons, but 2 at least. Reason number 1, you're learning. By mixing colors, you're learning. You wouldn't learn how to do this if you came with pre-mixed colors such as purple and pink. Second, we want people to be able to use the same colors for every of our painting. If it's going to cost a lot of money, if for every painting that we do, we requested people to buy those specific colors, that is very, very expensive to have all the colors in a palette. With 4 primaries, you can recreate any paint. With 5 primaries, you can recreate any painting. So that's why we highly recommend primaries. You can always buy paint. You can always buy premixed paint. We're never against that. It's just we don't want to request people to every time buy new colors for premixed paint paintings, just because it can get quite expensive. But if you want to do that, absolutely go for it. Whatever you find easier, if you guys find generally easier to have premixed paint, go for it. Absolutely. It will make your life easier, for sure. But also, you will learn more if you use primaries. Oh, wow. Vera, happy marriage day. I got married in a COVID too, so I can relate. Congratulations. All right, guys, so we're gonna move to our splatter. What colors are you gonna splatter with? Either white or light purple, you choose. Alternatively, you can use light blue, light pink, any light color you could totally splatter with, not a problem. But I would probably recommend either white or light purple. Just as a recommendation, you could totally add additional colors, not a problem. And how you're gonna splatter, there are two different ways you're gonna do it. And you're gonna need, for one way, you're gonna need just large brush. For second way, you're gonna need two brushes, large and medium. So let me show you a way number one. Is I'm gonna use straight white paint. So I'm gonna dip my brush in the water. It's brush full of water. Then I'm gonna water down my white a little bit. And the reason why is if you water it down, it splatters much, much better. The more liquid your paint is, the better your splatter is gonna be. And I'm gonna fill my brush full. Do you see how this watered down paint are all the way into all the bristles of my brush? That's important for splatter. Don't just take a brush paint on top of your brush like a blob, because once you start splattering, if you take it like a blob, it's gonna fly like a blob on your painting. You need to have it watered down and all the way into the bristles. And if you have it that way, you're gonna put your painting down and do this. It's like you're gonna pretend that you're Harry Potter. And this is gonna give you as you can see, it's fairly large, more like linear splatter. That's the kind of splatter this is gonna give you. Alternatively, second way of how to do it, again, you're gonna need to water down your paint a little bit, get it all the way into your brush, in all the bristles. But now you're gonna use two brushes. So you're gonna grab your medium brush that is clean. You're gonna keep the clean medium brush in your left hand if you're right-handed, and the other way around if you're left-handed. And with this brush, you're gonna bang on your clean brush. And what that will do is that's gonna give you more of a smaller, fireworky looking splatter. So it's a slightly different look. I personally prefer mix and match. I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But if you have a preference and you only want certain kind, you can just do that kind. So I did it in white, and I'm also gonna do it in light purple just because why not, right? And don't avoid your mood. You can totally splatter on your mood. Its additional texture will look really nice. So don't be afraid of getting it onto your mood a little. And use either one kind or both kinds. And you see mine is fully splattered. I'm quite happy with this. I'm gonna stop. All right, and I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to do it. And while you do it, I'm gonna do my cleanup, and I'm gonna look at everything that's around here. And anywhere the paint got that it shouldn't be in, I'm gonna wipe it off. And that's what you should do, because splatter is a messy thing. It always gets where you don't want it to be. That's just what it does. So as soon as you've done it, make a little cleanup, look around, see where did paint get that it's not supposed to be in, and wash it off right away. Acrylic paint usually comes off fairly easy as long as you wipe it off while it's still wet. Once it dries, that's it. It's gonna stay there forever. So splatter and a little cleanup, and I'll see you in a second as soon as I'm done my cleanup. I'm kind of done. It wasn't too bad. Yes, okay, so to comment on your comment about toothbrush, that is easy way, 100%. You just fill your brush and then you just do this, you flick it, right? Absolutely, if you have a toothbrush that you're not using, feel free to splatter with your toothbrush. The difference is how your splatter is gonna look. When you splatter with toothbrush, you're gonna end up with a very, very fine little dots of splatter. The way that I'm doing splatter, you're gonna have bigger splatter. So it really is what look you prefer. I personally prefer a bit of a larger splatter versus a smaller splatter. I know some people actually prefer smaller splatter, and that's okay, whichever one you prefer. And also, I usually don't recommend using toothbrush, only because I'm not sure if everyone would come prepared with a toothbrush. And I know everyone would come prepared with acrylic brushes, so that's why I'm showing you how to do it with acrylic brushes. But if you have toothbrush, go for it. I mean, I'm sure you have a toothbrush. If you have an extra toothbrush that you don't use for brushing your teeth, then go for it. Thanks, guys. To answer your question, why would paper towel lift the paint off canvas? It can happen with some brands of paint. It doesn't happen with mine, but I've heard that one before. I think it really depends on your brand of paint. Some brands of paint will do that. Some brands wouldn't. I would just say try to dab it lighter if it rubs off. I've heard that sometimes it would rub off the paint of the canvas too. So just try to do it lighter if that happens for you, or avoid using paper towel. Use the brush. Brush wouldn't do that. Guys, if you're just joining us, feel free to rewind to the beginning of this video because we are over 60% done. We're about 70% done at this point. So just start from the beginning. YouTube allows you to do that even while we're still live. After we're done recording this and the live event is over, you'll be able to pause it as well. But for now, you can just rewind to the beginning instead of trying to figure out how we got here, and see how we did it and actually do it with us. Yes, guys, good idea. If you can go outside and do this outside, splatter is, of course, safe to do outside. Another good place is kitchen counter because you can just wipe it off easy, no problem. All right, guys. So I see a lot of done and good to goes. We're going to move to our trees next. And trees are like a centerpiece of this paint. Well, moon is a centerpiece too, but trees are a big part of it. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to show you how to do our trees on the back of my canvas first. So don't do this yet. Just watch me do it. And then we will do it together on the front. Sounds good? All right. And I'm going to show you how to do it with dark blue. We will not be doing it with dark blue. We're going to be doing it with dark purple. So please don't do this yet. Just watch me, and then we'll do it together. All right. Let me get a bit more dark blue. And I will use my medium brush for this. So here are our trees. Take a good look. I'll show you this one first. Now, something that I want you to pay attention for here is, as you can see, they're all different height. Short, taller, taller, short, taller, short, short, very tall. The tallest ones are to the side. So these two are the tallest. But the rest are mix and match of heights. They're really tall ones, they're really short ones, and so on. What are we going to do? Generally, we're going to start by placing our tree trunks. That's the first thing. We're not going to do it one tree trunk, turn it into a tree. We will place all our tree trunks. So we're going to know the placement of our trees first. And only then we're going to turn those tree trunks into trees. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of how you can do those trees on the back of my canvas. Now, another thing to keep in mind, you see how they're all triangular shape. So they all have a nice pointed tip, and then they get wider, wider as they go down. And then they all merge into dark purple right here on the bottom. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, so I'm going to put a tree trunk. I'll put a tree trunk with the top edge of my medium brush, but you can use small brush for this too, whichever. Doesn't really matter for this. Now, the way that those trees are done on that painting is you're going to dab with it. I will be dabbing with the top edge of my medium brush. So I'm going to start from the top, and I'll do very small dabs, and then as I go lower, the dabs are going to get bigger and bigger, and I will be doing them in rows in a way. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to start by dabbing here. And then, do you see I'm going further and making my dabs a bit wider, the rows a bit wider. And as you can see, I'm just doing them in horizontal motion in a way. I'm not doing it on an angle or anything like that. You see, I'm just dabbing in a rows in a way. And you're gonna go all the way to the bottom of your tree trunk. That is one way to do this. That is the way that those trees are done there. Now, option number 2, just in case dabbing is not your thing, you can do brush strokes. So again, I'm gonna start by tree trunk, by putting tree trunk, and then again, it's very important that you maintain triangular shape to your tree to have a nice pointy top and for it to get wider as you go down. But instead of doing dabs, you're gonna do brush strokes. So all your brush strokes are gonna go from this tree trunk out. So I'm gonna do small ones on top, and then as I go lower, they're gonna get bigger and bigger. So do you see I'm starting from the bottom, so from the middle, and flicking them to the left and to the right and so on. This is option number 2. Again, really beautiful. It just depends which style seems more comfortable for you to use and which look you prefer. Option number 1, option number 2, I'll show you last one, option number 3. I will start by putting tree trunk again. And now I'm just gonna do horizontal brush strokes. Again, very small ones on top and then wider as you go down. So that's option number 3. You can do whichever one you want. This one or that one or this one. Or if you're undecided what you could do, you could even just take the picture of this. Just take a picture of it. I will hold it like this for a second. So that way, because I will be turning my canvas back around and I will be showing you on the front of my canvas in this style. But if you want to do that style or this style, take a photo so you have a photo reference. All right, I hope everyone took photos or anything else, screenshots, whatever you need to. Guys, sorry, I'm not seeing comments right now. I see that they are passing, but I will read all the comments, I promise, very shortly and answer all the questions that you may have. But first, I'm gonna show you the trees. So join me for the trees and then I'll respond to all the comments in chat. So guys, we're gonna use dark purple, the darkest purple that you can make. If you have premixed purple, feel free to use it, no problem. If you don't have premixed purple, you're just gonna make red and blue. You can mix a little bit of white if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just use red and blue straight, and that would give you the darkest purple. My purple sometimes gets so dark that it looks almost like black, so I may potentially add the tiniest smidge ever of white to it to just make it visibly purple. But if your purple still looks purple in the darkest version of it, you don't have to do that. So I'm gonna grab my red. Actually, I'm gonna mix right on the spot. So I have some red here. I'm just gonna grab some blue, mix it in. Again, remember, blue is a bossy color, so you don't need equal parts of red and blue. This is my purple. Do you see it looks almost black, very dark. So I'm gonna grab a smidge of white, literally a tiny smidge, and add it in just so it doesn't look black, so it looks visibly purple. Now it at least looks like it's purple and not black, which is what I want. So I'm gonna use that. And I'm going to start by placing my tree trunks. So I am going to start with the longest ones and then I make my way to shortest ones. And I will be using the top edge of my medium brush to do my tree trunks. But if you guys would like, you can use small brush instead. And remember, all the tree trunks are gonna start from the bottom and go up. Now we're not gonna start from the very bottom. We're actually gonna put one line. It's gonna be like a rounded line. That's where our tree trunks are gonna start from. You see, I added one line. That's for me to know where my tree trunk starts from. And now I'm gonna position my tree trunks, again, from the tallest one. I'll have the tallest ones on the side. So from the bottom up, I'll place one right here. How tall is up to you. You can have them taller, you can have them shorter. That's probably my tallest one. Maybe a little bit taller, actually. Why not, right? Okay, my second one is going to go right here. It's going to be pretty tall too. So I have two tall ones. Now I'll add one in the middle. It's nice for your middle one to go a little bit on a moon, just because that's where it's going to be the most visible. Now I'll add one here. Now in between, you can add as many as you want, however you want. I'll add one here. I'll add one right here. Now shorter ones in between. They totally are allowed to overlap. If your trees overlap, that's okay. That's not a bad thing. So don't avoid that. Overlapping is completely allowed. And you can have less trees if you want. As you can see, I'm having lots of trees here, literally a lot. You can have half of those trees and it will still look fantastic. So I'm going to give you all a second to position your tree trunks first. So this is my tree trunk positioning. I'm happy with this. I'm going to keep it exactly as is right now. But again, I'll give you another second before I start turning them into trees. And I'll see if there are any questions in chat that I can answer. Guys, you should not mix the style of trees. Please don't mix the styles. Whatever style you choose, that's the style you're going to do throughout. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing combos, even of two trees. It's better to do the same style for all the trees. Bye, Dale. Thanks for joining us. Yes, also a good idea to practice. Thank you for that suggestion. That is a good idea. If you have a separate piece of paper, feel free to just try out all three styles and see which one works better for you, and then go ahead and turn them into trees using that particular style. Yes, Virginia, absolutely. We also have a Mandalorian painting, The Child, with a baby Yoda. So if anyone is into baby Yoda, feel free to join us. You can find the event for that painting either on our Facebook page or here on YouTube. It's going to be hosted through YouTube, but if you want our CVP on Facebook, absolutely go for it. Okay, I'm going to show you guys another look on the trees. Take a photo. If you need to, take a photo of this, because I will be doing my trees on the other side. All right, now I'm going to turn my tree trunks into trees. And again, choose whichever style you decided and turn all of them. Start always from the top and work your way down. I'm going to start with this one because it's right in the middle. Remember, the top needs to be nice and pointy. So what I use for the top is the corner of my brush, because my brush is pretty wide. So it's not going to give me a very pointy top if I do it with a full width of a brush. But if I do it with just the corner of my brush, it gives me a nice pointy tip. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to make my way down here. If your purple is too red, just add a little bit more blue. Guys, alternatively, if you are into contrast and you want your trees crazy contrast, you can even do your trees with black. I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you are sure you're gonna love it. Yeah, I think dark purple is just gonna blend easier into our very light bottom, where with black it's gonna be potentially an issue, but you could, if you wanted to have your trees in black, you can. So one side of my trees is done. I'm gonna move on to another side. But I need to make more purple. I am out of purple at this point. All right, my all trees are done. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple more minutes to finish your trees. And once you have them, let me know, and then I'll show you how to merge that purple into the white that we're gonna add from the bottom to finish up this section here. But no rush. Just let me know. The one downside, unfortunately, with the virtual events is there's absolutely no way for me to know where you're at unless you let me know. So please do. And once I know that we are ready and our trees are done, then we'll move on to merging it to the bottom, and then highlights on the trees, and then we're done. So that's super exciting. The trees are fat and happy. Yes, that's good. Those are good trees. Done, done, done. Awesome, guys. Hi, guys. Okay, guys, couple more minutes. And I'm going to turn them on to the back too, so you can see the trees on the back here. Just in case you're doing one of those styles that I didn't do, some other style. Ready, great. Awesome, I see a couple of people ready. That's good. Ready, ready, awesome. That is great, guys. So now I'm going to show you how to merge this purple to the bottom. So let me show you. First, you're going to start by taking more purple on your brush. When you see that line, you're going to add a couple of brush strokes going down here. So with the same purple, same brush, I'm just adding a couple of brush strokes down, right? You see I added a couple of brush strokes down. And now I'll wash my brush. I'll take some white, straight white, and I will go on the bottom here. And I'll add it right to the purple. Or you can use light pink or light blue instead of white here. It doesn't have to be just white. Do you see? I added it right to the purple, and now I'm going to start blending. So I'm going to go with white onto purple and then back. So what that will do is my brush will spread the slightly wet white, whatever I have left on my brush, up into my purple, and will create a transition color. And the other way around, it will pick up that fresh purple and bring it down onto my white. So just don't refill your brush, but continue going couple brush strokes up, couple brush strokes down, and you'll create a beautiful blending here. And after you have that, if you want to add a little bit of, let's say, light pink or light blue there, just to have another color, absolutely go for it. But also, if you don't have to, if you don't want to, it's not a requirement there. Just this is more than enough. I think I'm going to go with light pink. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, pink, mix it up. I'll add it right here. Why not, right? Makes life more interesting. And guys, remember, you can always rewind this video a little bit. If you need a bit more time, just feel free to rewind it and rewatch certain parts again. Once we're done recording, once the YouTube live is done, you will have ability to pause it as well, which I know a lot of people enjoy. So I did just a little bit of pink there too. And I'll give you guys some time to do this, so no rush. You guys, if you have your questions, feel free to ask. I'm here and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. It keeps getting better and better. Yes, awesome. It should be. Deborah, yes, it will stay on our YouTube, so you can rewatch it some other time. That's no problem. And thank you, guys. I am glad it's turning out well for you. I am quite pleased with it too. Guys, potentially you can do any other color for trees too. If your purple is not exactly like mine, that's not a problem. You could technically do this with red or purple. You can do it with blue or purple. You could do your trees with just dark blue. Even that would look really good. Or you can do them with straight black. All of that will look really good. The only reason why I probably wouldn't recommend straight black is because you know how we blended here to the white, right? If you did this with black, you would have a gray transition, which is not nice. It's not going to match anything else on a painting. But any other color is better because then your transition will have color as well, which is nice. Sorry, what do you mean your wife didn't cover the background from early? Can you explain more and I'll tell you how to fix it? Oh, if you can see through your trees and you just want more coverage, add more paint. Just continue blobbing it on. Or if you feel like your background in between trees is not visible, that's a bigger problem. If your background in between trees is not done, you're gonna need to color match and add the background first, and only then go back to your trees and fill the trees. If your trees are just a bit too transparent, just blob on more paint. Yeah, and guys, the video is gonna stay up. So if the first try was not your best effort, not your best result, you can redo this. It's gonna be right here. And second time around is always better because you know what not to do and what mistakes to avoid. Oh, if your trees just blend into purple that was there, either go darker or let it dry. Maybe your background is not dry, or just choose a darker color for the trees. All right, guys, I am gonna add my highlights. So you can add highlights in two different colors. You can choose whether you wanna do white or whether you wanna do light purple. On this one, I did white, straight white for the highlights, but my purple was pretty wet. So as you can see, in some areas, it looks more like light purple versus white. So again, it's up to you. White is gonna be pretty contrast and more like in your face kind of highlight. If you would rather have it softer, go with light purple. So make light purple and do it that way. Totally up to you, totally up to you. I'm gonna leave it to you, you can decide. I'm gonna do straight white just because why not? And if I don't like it, I'll add light purple on top. So you're gonna take your brush, just a little bit of paint on it, not too much, and you're gonna do the same style that you chose. So if you did the style that I did, you're gonna do it in the same motion. If you did this style, you're gonna do your highlights in the same motion. If you did this style, you're gonna do your highlights in the same motion. Whatever style you chose, stick with the style. For my case, it was dabs, right? So I'm gonna highlight my trees on the side that's closer to the moon. So on this trees, the highlight is gonna be on this side that's closer to the moon. On this trees, the highlight is gonna be on this side. On this tree, it's gonna be on both sides. So let me show you, I'll start with this tree. And I'm just gonna do a little dab. So the same style that you were doing with, you're gonna add for highlights. You see just a little, either dabs or brush strokes, depending how you did your tree. You're gonna add in white or light purple on one side of your tree. I'm not gonna be going all the way down. I'll be going almost all the way down, but not all the way. Did you see I'm using very lightly? I'm only using a little bit of paint on my brush. If you use too much paint, they're gonna turn out quite blobby, and that's not the goal here. So just try to not use too much paint. Or you can even dry up your brush, grab some paint on it, and then dry it up on a paper towel or a cloth before you go onto your painting. Yeah, guys, if you don't have white left, you can use any other light color, whatever you have pre-mixed from light colors. If let's say you're completely out of white, use that. Alternatively, you can just, if you don't have any other light colors left, and you're out of white, I would say just pause for now. This video is going to stay up on the Facebook, on YouTube, sorry, not on Facebook, on YouTube forever, pretty much. So you can do this tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, whenever you get a chance to either go to the store or order some paint online. Ta-da! So here are all my trees highlighted. I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes, no rush, to do this. And whenever you have it, as always, let me know in chat. Say good to go, ready, and then we'll move to the next step, but no rush. Take your time. And also, while I wait for all of us to catch up, I will just remind you again, because I know people are going in and out here. Not everyone is staying the whole time, and more people are joining us just now. So just guys, if you want to, if you just joined us right now, feel free to go to the front of this video, to the beginning of this video, just rewind back, and you can start watching from the beginning. You don't have to wait until it's done. How important is it to have the paint dry when you're doing this? Not important at all. If it's wet, it's actually better. It's better to do this on wet. But if it's dry, it works too. In my case, it's so-so. It's half wet, half dry. Either one is fine. It's just if it's super dry, you might want to adjust the color and do light purple. If it's wet, white is perfect because it's going to blend with purple anyway and create light purple. Yeah, so if you guys just joined us, feel free to rewind to the beginning and start watching from the very beginning. The video will remain on our YouTube pretty much forever, so you can do this some other day too. That's no problem. Yeah, and you can even repaint it if you paint it with me today, but you want to do it again because now you would like to use different colors or do it differently. You can, absolutely. And guys, we generally do quite a few. We do 1 to 2 free events a week, so feel free. We do some through Facebook. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, please do. We have some free events that we host just specifically through Facebook Live, and some events we host through YouTube Live. Again, 1 to 2 events a week. So feel free to subscribe here as well. We already have a lot of different free videos here if you want to check them out as well, if you haven't done them before. And we do have Zoom events for those of you who prefer the ability to actually show your painting to the artist. We do have a lot of Zoom events on our website pretty much every day. Feel free to check those out as well. Whatever you guys are into and whatever you prefer. All right, guys. So now we're going to finish. We're going to add our final touches. I'm going to start with stars. I'm going to add a couple stars. So let me show you how to do stars. It's very, very simple. I'm going to show you on the back of my canvas first. So stars, I'm going to show you in dark blue paint, but you will do it in white, and they're definitely going to be smaller than this. So you're going to put a dot, and then from that dot, you're going to flick up and flick down. Then flick left and flick right. And then you can add, you can either keep it at that or you can add in-betweeners. So you can add a couple flicks in between that are going to be smaller. Flick, 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 flick. And on a smaller scale, this looks so adorably cute. So that's the way we're going to do the stars. You can have as many of them as you want. I would probably suggest have some bigger, some smaller. Go with different sizes. You don't want all of them have to be the same size. That just doesn't look good. So have a few bigger, a few smaller. Start with a dot, line up, line down, line left, line right, and then a couple in betweeners if you want them. If you don't want them, that's okay too. You don't have to have them. And then we are going to finish with snow. So I'm gonna add a whole bunch of white dots with either one, either the painting side of your small brush or not painting side of your small brush. Just make sure it's rounded. It's not like a cutoff kind. All right, so I'm gonna start on the bottom. Those are gonna be fallen snowflakes, right? So we're gonna add a couple here. Don't overdo this. You don't need too many of them. If you can get a variety of sizes, maybe some bigger, some smaller, that would be the best. And usually you would, because when you just fill your brush with paint and you have more paint, your dots are going to be a little bigger, and then as you run out of paint, they're going to get smaller. So you would naturally get this variety of sizes, which is great. So I'm going to add a couple there. Then as I go up, I will add a couple too. All right, and that is pretty much it. This is finished. Last thing I will do is I'll sign it. I'll choose a spot and I'm going to put my initials on it. Ta-da! If you guys haven't done your edges, as I did, for example, feel free to just choose one purple out of all the purples and color your edges with that color. And it will look really nice and finished from every angle. So here is our beautiful, beautiful painting. Now, guys, if you had fun and you want to share your results and you're very happy with how they turned out, or at least you just had fun, feel free to take a photo and you can post them on our Facebook if you want. Just find any post and post it in comments, or you can post it specifically on event page. I'm actually going to post a thank you post there, and I will enable commenting so you can post your photos of your works in comments. That way, everyone who participated would be able to see how they turned out, which is the best part. It just, when we can see how it turned out, it feels like we're actually in the same room doing this together. That's funny. You guys are funny in comments here. Yes, and guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. We have a lot of good stuff here already and a lot more coming up. The same with our Facebook. And if you guys had fun and you love your painting and you loved painting with me and I did my best, I hope it was okay with you. I hope you enjoyed this time. I apologize if your comment got missed somewhere, because I know it happens sometimes when they start going really, really fast. Sometimes I miss things. So if that was you, I am really, really sorry. I hope everything worked out for you and you love it. If you had fun and you want to say thank you, there are a couple ways you can do that. One of the ways is you can just give us a good review on Facebook. You can put a good comment, a share. All that is highly appreciated. Another way, if you would like to thank me specifically, you can tip me. There is a way to tip me through PayPal or through e-transfer on description of this video on Facebook, actually. But I might post it here in comments or in description. But yes, it definitely is on Facebook. That is a good way to say thank you. But yes, a kind word or a tip, all of that works. We appreciate all of it. Yay! Guys, and I will stay here for a little bit to answer all the questions that you may have. So if you have a question that either got missed or you feel like it's very interesting or specific question, feel free to ask. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. How did you snow again? Just dots and white. How do you preserve the paint or mount it? So usually acrylic paint is quite good. You don't even need to varnish it. It is, if you use good quality acrylic, it should last you, painting should last you a very long time. But if you want to put it somewhere, let's say in a bathroom or in an area that has high humidity, it always is best to varnish it. And there are different ways to do it. You can buy either varnish, more like a liquid varnish in any art store, or there are even spray varnishes that are even easier. They're not very expensive. I would say on average they're about $10, and that spray will last you many, many, many paintings. It's not like one-time use thing. So just visit your local art store and ask them what they have for varnishes and use that. Their options. Mounting really depends what you painted on. For example, my canvas, there are little hooks that I usually add right here. You screw them in or you nail them, whichever, and then you put a wire and then you wire it. So that's you can do. You can buy those in any Home Depot type of store. Or yes, use nail and a paper clip to hang it. Good tip. Yay, that's awesome, guys. I'm so happy. All right, so let me try to share this with you. For those of you who are wondering where you can post your photos, I'm going to share with you a link in comments right now. Events. I think my laptop works. All right, so here is the link. This link is, I just commented it. That link will bring you to event page on Facebook. Right now, there's no currently post, but I will make a post very shortly that will have commenting enabled as soon as we're done. So you can post in comments there to that post, and then everyone else can see how it turned out. Feel free to do that. And I'll post a tip link here too. Thank you for asking. All right, I posted that as well. Yes, you guys are very, very welcome. I'm so happy all of you joined us, and congratulations on all the celebrations that are happening today. My mind is blown how many of us are celebrating, how many of you are having birthdays, anniversaries, a wedding day. Wow, mind-blowing, amazing. And Thanksgiving as well. Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate today. This is a lot of happiness going on here. Sorry if I wasn't able to shout out everyone by name. There was a lot of requests, and I was just trying to do some shout outs and some painting because, you know, have to keep the painting going, right? So I apologize if I didn't call you specifically by name. Still happy birthday and happy anniversary. If you don't have Facebook, where can you post pictures? Good questions. We don't have any public space where everyone can post pictures other than Facebook. So the benefit of posting on Facebook is that everyone else who participated can see it. You can email us if you just want to show us how it turned out. We would love to see it. You can email it to us, but unfortunately, if you do email us to us, we are the only ones who's going to see it. I don't think YouTube allows you to comment with photos, but if it does, do. I just don't think it does. How high can you put snow? All the way up. Is there any way to get paint off clothes? As long as you wash your clothes while your paint is fairly fresh or ideally wet, it comes off perfectly fine. It's just once it dries, that's when it's a problem. So if you got paint on you today, just throw your clothes into washing machine right away. It should come out. What time is the Mandalorian painting? Let me check it out. I actually don't remember. I wouldn't be able to tell you by memory. But if you guys give me a second, I will take a look for you. We actually have a Mandalorian helmet, Mandalorian himself painting here already on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. Liesl did a free event, a free YouTube live event like I'm doing right now a couple of weeks ago, so it's all ready. But the Baby Yoda is coming. Baby Yoda is coming this month, I believe, the end of the month. And Mandalorian, the helmet Mandalorian is already here on YouTube, so feel free to check it out. It's available, so you can paint it any day. And Baby Yoda, I'm going to tell you in a second when it's coming. You just have to find it quickly. Baby Yoda coming up on November 30th. 30th. 30. November 30. 6:30 p.m. Toronto time. What I'm using to record the live stream, my laptop. Yay. Okay, guys. I don't see any more questions, so thank you all for joining us again. Hope you had fun, and I will see you again next time. Until the next time. Bye, everyone.